So glad you guys are here. If you don't mind, some of you in the very back kind of move a little forward. So I wanted this to be a very interactive class, like some singing going on, and we can get some examples here. Probably 8 years into that, I lost my voice and started doing session work right when I got in. I had waited forever to get into this circle in LA, and I completely lost my voice. And I panicked, because I wanted to know what was going on, and how could I fix it, and my livelihood now depends on this, what am I going to do? And so I started really doing research, and I went to train. So then I really learned what was going on, and I became so fascinated with the voice. And that's sort of when my studio, ironically, took off. And so I keep doing that now. I'm doing sessions because, like I said, you learn so much when you work with other singers. It's when you sing on swollen chords that also cause the problems of nodules, which I'll get to in a minute as well. So alcohol is a kind of delayed effect on your body. And especially, you know, if you abuse it on a regular basis. Don't eat late because of acid reflux. Now we just heard this. I went to a seminar this year for voice teachers. This is still the #1 cause of vocal problems, is acid reflux. And a lot of people don't even know you have it. You don't have to be large to have it. You can be very thin. And sometimes you don't even know the signs. When I lost my voice, that ends up being what that was I had acid reflux. And you can tell because you're clearing your throat really softly all the time. Kind of, because you're clearing the thickened mucus off your cords. These are some things I want you to concentrate on from now on when you're singing. That's going to help you. Just basic things that any voice teacher would tell you. Keep your head level. Don't raise your head for high notes. You see this all the time, and I'll tell you why. Because we see it on TV. We think high is up here, right? This is low notes, and these are high notes. The notes are not up here, and they're not down here. They're in your vocal cords go from front to back, like if you're looking at me like this, from front to back in your throat, and they stretch. So they stretch tighter for higher notes and shorter for lower notes. So the higher you sing, it's just moving forward in your throat. It's not up, right? So what happens is your cords are two little pieces of flesh. Some people say muscle, but they're not really muscle, that go from front to back, and they're in the pipe, right? They're in your windpipe. And so when you bend that pipe, you hear what happens? But again, you guys, it always comes back to tension. This has happened to me about 2 months ago, I think about 2 months ago. I had this particular student, I could not figure out what the tension was in their voice because I didn't see it here. And in my studio, I have a piano like this, and they stand in the crook of the piano, so I couldn't see from here down. And I kept thinking, you know, and it was really starting to frustrate me. So finally, I got up one day, and I was going to walk over to the person and, like, push on them or something to try to see where the tension was. And I got over there, and this girl had her hand like this. Literally, like in a fist. And I looked down and I thought, wow, and I grabbed her hand, and her hand and her arm was just a habit when she sang like that. And I said, what are you doing? Shake out your hand. So she shook out her hand, and I got her to move over where I could see her, and I had her just sit here and do this while she sang. And all that work we had done for a month that I was trying to figure out completely came out with her sound. And so she got all the notes and everything back. It always is tension of some kind. In your body, you hold it. That's why I said in there in big capital letters on your paper, stress is awful for your body and therefore awful for your cords. And I hate to ever say anything about other voice teachers or anything because we're all trying to get to the same goal. Every voice teacher is trying to get you to sing freely and get your entire range and get you to sing well and, you know, enjoy it, etc. I mean, we're all trying to get to that same space. The problem is this. Like when I started, I did not know what I was doing. And I was only teaching what I did, which was not completely right at the time either. And you're trying to, if I tell you to do your hand like that, you just do it. If I tell you to wiggle your nose, you do it. If I tell you to blink, you do it. But if I'm trying to get you to do something with your voice, I'm trying to get something on the inside of your body to change that neither one of us can see, right? You hear it, but you know what needs to happen. But the way I explain it, and Emily's a voice teacher, and somebody else in the back said they were a voice teacher. The way we all three explain it may be a different way to get it. Some teachers may say, I need you to tuck in your butt, you know, to get this engagement happening here. Or some teacher may tell you a whole different way, and we're all trying to get you to do that same thing. It just may be your personal way of relating to a teacher. And like girls always go for feeling. Guys want to know how it works. So when a guy walks in, I'm saying, okay, you need to lower this, you need to turn that, you need to, you know. Girls, I have to say, okay, you're going to feel this sensation in your head that seems to be like this. You see what I'm saying? So everybody processes it differently, and every voice teacher tries their best, and it just may be you click with the person and really can communicate well. Doesn't mean that one voice teacher is any better or worse than the other one. Another misconception is to hear a voice student and tell that that teacher is good or bad by that voice student. That's not a good thing to judge. Because if you heard my best student, you would think I was the best teacher in the world. If you heard one of my students I had this week, you would think I was probably the worst teacher in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody's at a different level, and we're just trying to get you from point A to point B. Your best judge would be to watch that student from their starting point to 2 or 3 months later, and then go, oh wow, look at that progress they made, and just see if you clicked with the teacher. I want to thank you guys so much. You were so attentive, and you were like into it and asking questions and volunteering. I appreciate it so much. Before we go, thank you. Before we go, you got a flyer. My studio's in Santa Monica, by the way. So if you ever do need help, email me, call me, or set up a lesson or whatever, or I can refer you to some teachers that are down here. I'll gladly do that I know that teach well. You also got a flyer, and I'm really excited about this new program because I teach singers how to read music. A lot of singers don't know how to read music. So they're just kind of going off their ear. And on this site, I also have all these exercises that I talked to you about today. If it's something you're interested in, check it out. Okay? Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.